All right, today we're going to talk about the Target Pride collection getting pulled. This just happens. We're going to talk about it. We're going to go through the process that I normally go through for these kind of things. So, this kind of homepage, Target Pride, we'll go through that in a sec. But I saw this on social media. So, first thing I did is go to the internet. I said Target Pride collection pulls. All right, here's an NBC link. I read that. There's AP News. I like that. I went to the Washington Post link, and I did that specifically because I know Washington Post leans a little bit left, and I wanted to kind of see what people were saying in defense of it immediately. So I said, "Why is Target pulling some Pride merch? The retailer's response to hostile backlash explained." So I already did talk about certain items. If you haven't paid attention to the story, apparently there was a collection for the Pride Month, and it featured some items that upset some people. And Target recently pulled it, saying that some members of their staff were getting hostile responses, and other people have said that they're just trying to save sales, similar to the Bud Light boycotts. So basically, I read through the whole thing. There's a couple things that were important. I think this paragraph is really where the substance happens. This is what people said was upsetting. They said, tuck-friendly women's swimsuits, which allow trans women to have non-gender affirming operations. Conservatives were among Target Pride's items that garnered the most attention. There are bogus claims on social media platforms that swimsuits are being sold in a children's department designed by Apralin, I don't know how you say it, a London-based company that designs and sells occult and satanic-themed LGBTQ plus clothing and accessories have also created backlash. So this is kind of the bulk of what people are upset about. So I wanted to see for myself what they were about. I'd say first I went to the designs by Apralin, and this is the Instagram page of the designer. And it is very much kind of like a Spencer's, what's the word, where it's like kind of cheeky in like a, I don't know, daring way. We'll see. We had more genders every time we complain. Cure transphobia, not trans people. A lot of it's pretty innocuous. Only a snowflake would want to ban drag. Again, kind of like that, like little like attitude, very haughty with a AUGHTY haughty. Let's see, smile if you're a lesbian prince. My sex change made me hot. Kind of get the attitude. Trans witches for abortion. That's probably one of, I can imagine, the more controversial pins. Transsexual menace. Again, like think Spencer's, think very like kind of blanking on the word, but you guys hopefully are getting it. Homophobia is not a form of masculinity. Again, a lot of it's pretty innocuous. Some of it definitely is like more on the witchy side, we'll say. Pronouns are just the start. Start of what? I don't know. Satanic flea market. Take a look at that one. But I get it. Make more gay horror movies. You guys kind of get the idea. I could see why some people were upset about this as a designer. I don't think most of the satanic stuff actually made the page. I went to the Target Pride page and I went through a bunch of this. Kids and baby clothing, a big part of what was upsetting people is they're saying that they made trans clothing targeting kids. It says some items were pulled. They don't specify what items were pulled, so I don't know. I'm coming to this late, but from what I'm seeing, the negative reviews apply to clothing that even seems not super sexualizing of kids or encouraging of kid sex changes, which is an area that people get upset. Like this kind of just looks like a being proud. All of these, if you look, have pretty bad reviews, and it seems about being proud to be gay. Let's see what the reviews on this one say, actually. 1 star. So it's itchy. It's itchy as It's funny. It's actually just a product criticism. Very scratchy fabric, not for children, very itchy. Do not buy awkward. You know what? I'm surprised. I thought this was going to be a flood of homophobic comments. Apparently, they just made really bad material. Color faded easily, wasn't fade resistant. Sizes off, materials off. Do not recommend anything from the sign. Poor quality products. Wow, I'm pretty shocked. Is there a page two? I really thought that was going to be all angry conservatives just like lashing out. It seems that it's actually just a bad product. Again, kind of going through the products, none of these seem particularly bad. This is one that I saw actually on social media that people are freaking out about. I guess it's kind of saying that it would sexualize a girl, maybe. I'm not a parent. I don't know. I don't know what kids wear. I feel like that can go either way with kids wearing what they want or not. This says one. This just says one review. This is 1 star, 70%. Or did they take off the reviews? Huh. It's very interesting. This one definitely seems like they took off a lot of the reviews. Maybe that's what they did with the other one too then. And maybe that's why I can just see the quality stuff. Because this one, 80% would recommend, 43 star ratings. You know, I'm not, 1 star is 70% of the 43 ratings. So, you know, that would be more than what I'm seeing. So maybe they pulled some of the reviews. I went in, I looked at AP. Again, everyone has to decide for themselves what sources they trust. I really do think AP is one of the least biased sources. Again, there is always bias in news. It's impossible for a source to not be biased. Don't ever say a source is unbiased, because even when the editors are choosing what stories to cover, that is a bias, right? Talking about what things are newsworthy or not is a bias. The way in which they frame issues, right? They could say pro-life, or they could say anti-abortion. Same group of people. How are they phrasing it? There's always going to be a bias in news. Associated Press, I think, is one of the least biased. Target Pride Collection features tuck-friendly swimsuits for adults, not kids. Claim Target's Pride Collection features a bathing suit for kids that is labeled tuck-friendly. AP assessment, false. The tuck-friendly swimsuits are only offered in adult sizes, according to a spokesperson for the company and the Target's website. Kids swimsuits in the collection do not feature this label. So, you know, I trust that, you know, and again, I didn't see it. I looked to try and see if anyone had screenshots of the alleged tuck bathing suits beforehand. I couldn't find them. That's a big part of what the ones that people said they were getting upset about. Again, nothing in the kids section that's super, I think, problematic, at least in my opinion. To an extent, you know, a kid being proud to be gay is an issue for some people. Bye Bye Binary, the pronoun book, Beyond the Gender Binary. So it's a lot of trans things, which I think there's a lot less trans acceptance than gay acceptance. You know, I get it on one hand. You know, I think that people have a right to protest and say I don't like things promoting social values that I don't like. You know, people are always, when it's anti-LGBT, people are you know, act like it's a horrible thing, but when it's you know, the reverse, where people boycott Chick-fil-A, you know, it's seen as good. You know, I take the view that it's kind of everyone's going to boycott what they don't agree with, right? If Target is a business, they're targeting customers. If their customers are religiously conservative and they're going to boycott something that's within their rights. Target ultimately is going to make decisions based on what brings them money. They're not a non-profit championing pride clothing, right? At the end of the day, they're trying to make sales, so their decisions are going to be driven by sales. It'd be very different if I felt it was an organization that is more beholden to a principle of equality. I just kind of think a lot of this stuff is bullshit, where they're like, oh, we care about this community that helps make us more dollars. So, everyone's going to respond in kind to what the grand dollar says. It doesn't seem like anything is super problematic, at least to my eye. Let me know if you disagree. Again, I think right now, trans acceptance is being a big issue on either end. People talking about sexualizing kids a lot with the trans issues. Let's see about this one. This one's got 118 reviews. 100. Let's see, 1 stars. Do we get? Did fit the crotch area, wasn't comfortable. Very cute suit, but my beans were spilling out of the can, and my frank was only accentuated, not minimized. Interesting. So maybe this terrible suit not for a girl. I don't find this swimsuit cute. It would be cute if my gender and all the experiences and struggles that have come with it wasn't a costume. So this person is clearly not talking about the bathing suit. No support, thin material, zero coverage. Maybe what someone's looking for. I wish the suit was labeled appropriately. Obviously, it wasn't built for a woman's body. I can't tell whether or not that's someone that genuinely is protesting a trans bathing suit, or if they actually just didn't think it works. Are these tuck-friendly bathing suits? Yes, plenty of room for the Franks and the Beans, or plenty of room to sneak snacks into the movie theater, if you know what I mean. I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Alright, well, that's it. I just want to kind of say, encourage people to go through first the sources themselves, go to the website, see what people say, fact check things. As far as the actual, backlash, I'm not seeing anything for tuck-friendly kid suits. The designer is certainly, a witchy, satanic type of dude. Again, it really feels like Spencer's. So I don't know how much people get upset about Spencer's saying the same thing for young teen girls. I'm not going to say that there isn't other lines of clothing that kind of have similar messaging for straight teen girls. So I think a lot of this really just boils down to people not being comfortable with, youth gay acceptance, youth trans acceptance, and I'm not seeing anything that's particularly sexualized. But again, I also respect people's right to boycott financially if you are someone that doesn't support those issues. I think the problem right now has become that people have become, if you don't agree with my view, you are a bigot. And, I think that we need to broaden the conversation a little bit. I do think that acceptance on average is much better than non-acceptance. I also think that we live in a society, and you can't say I'm pushing this because it makes me comfortable at the expense of making other people uncomfortable, right? To what extent does acceptance from an individual lifestyle perspective play into acceptance from a broad societal? Everyone has the right to feel comfortable. We have laws, you can't walk around naked, right? What if someone was to say, hey, I want to run naked, that's how I feel comfortable? We say, we as a society don't like that. So there definitely has to be a broader conversation about how acceptance for the individual ties to acceptance for societal group comfort. But yeah, I think that's, again, whenever it comes to gay issues, the idea of sexualizing kids is always way overblown. I'm never seeing kind of evidence of it, and in the few cases that there have been evidence, Balenciaga being the big example, I think a lot of people agreed that was bad. It wasn't like a controversial thing. Let me know thoughts. Let me know if there's anything I missed. I was happy to talk more about these.